I think they're trying to come to some sort of an agreement. The rumor is that he wants $30 million, and the UFC's going to pay it. Hopefully, I hope they pay it.
John Jones beats Tom Aspinall after Tom Aspinall being the guy that everybody thought could beat him. After Tom Aspinall doing what he's done to the heavyweight division, imagine if he wins. Imagine the position he will find himself in terms of negotiating power.
As the year begins, the MMA community already seems to be buzzing with exhilarating news, including the highly extravagant and lucrative fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspin, which, according to Joe Rogan, is the craziest bout he has ever heard of.
I know we have our new schedule mapped out until probably February.
Okay.
Everything is sort of a TBD. So what we'll do is we'll lay out 3 different possibilities that we could end up in, on certain dates, and we'll start to narrow that down as we get into the.
Meanwhile, after looking at the upcoming calendar of the UFC bouts, there is no doubt that this year will be anything but ordinary because almost every one of these events includes a star-studded cast. However, despite all these announcements, MMA fanatics still yearn for something bigger and more exhilarating, aware of these incessant public demands. UFC CEO Dana White recently divulged the future plans regarding the sport, expressing that after the completion of the current projects, they will move on to the fights that the fans won. During this particular interview, Dana also shared his thoughts on a possible collaboration with the Saudi authorities.
I'm looking at a different opportunity. Obviously, the Saudis have, Sheikh Turkey specifically, has completely reinvigorated boxing, making fights that couldn't be made before, that would have never been made had it not been for him. So he and I have, created a relationship, and
particularly His Excellency Turki Alal Sheikh, for the advance and revolution of MMA, just like the one that boxing has seen in the last few years, where the process of making huge fights has been simplified and the benefits of them have been and increased tenfold for both the fighters as well as all the organizers and stakeholders that are involved in it, which is unprecedented in a sport like MMA or boxing, which in the past used to be heavily governed by politics and biases. Although there have been a lot of varying demands circulating online regarding what fight the fans want to see the most, one bout that outshines them all is the battle between 2 of the greatest heavyweight legends in UFC history, Jon Jones and Tom Aspin. Sharing his plan about orchestrating this, Dana stated that a fight of this caliber
every year, and this year it would be Aspinall Jones. That's the biggest fight in heavyweight history. And at the end of the day, what my job is to give the fans what they want, and that's what the fans want.
So obviously you said you want him to fight Tom next, and you said that could just be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time.
it will be.
Oh man, that might be the best fight in MMA.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. People will lose their minds if either one
is quite crucial at this point for the UFC, because not only is this something that the fans want, but also because of its nature of being a potential heavyweight title unification fight, which at the end of the day brings a lot of attention to perspective that adds to the significance of this fight. Dana White emphasized that Jon Jones, despite having reached the pinnacle of his career and possessing the freedom to choose his fights, has an obligation to participate in matchups that are essential for the sport, such as his potential bout with Tom Aspinall. White pointed out that Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion, has earned his spot as a challenger for the heavyweight title.
Career that, if he wants something, we would do it. But you can't just want to do a fun fight and not fight the interim heavyweight champion, the guy who's next. Because if Jon Jones retired on Saturday, Tom Aspinall would be the heavyweight champion. So opportunities were given to Jon Jones. He was 23. He was the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. Now, as he sits where he sits, it's his obligation to give it to the younger guy, to give him that opportunity. And if he beats Tom Aspinall, then yes, I would.
Making this fight both necessary and highly anticipated. Reflecting on Jones' illustrious career, White noted that the fighter's rise to becoming the youngest heavyweight champion in UFC history was largely due to the opportunities provided to him at a young age. These opportunities allowed Jones to build a legacy that remains unmatched in the sport.
And then he would go for the head kick and slipping punches. I mean, he's going to be 38 years old this summer. He looked incredible. I just don't know how any of you don't see that this guy's the fucking greatest fighter in the history of fucking people fighting. He's 37 going on 38. And again, tonight, he went in and did what he did. He's fucking unbelievable. And as long as he's active.
Now, White argues, it is Jones' responsibility to give back to the sport by extending similar opportunities to the next generation of fighters. Rather than pursuing personal interests or less significant matchups, Jones has a chance to solidify his legacy further by taking on challenges that elevate the sport.
It's hard to bet against John, but John's not a real heavyweight. Yeah. John could make light heavyweight, 100%. He weighs 230 right now, maybe a little less than 230. There's no doubt in my mind that if John just changed his diet and went back, he hasn't put that much mass on that you would say 205 is out of reach.
No, it's fluffy weight.
Yeah.
A lot of it too.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had always had the reputation of all the heavyweights up at Jackson Winklejohn. Top 10 in the world as a heavyweight. I thought it was the shit. He fucked me up. He goes, he beat my ass. And he goes, he beat everybody else's ass too. All the other heavyweights, ragdoll dudes way bigger than him. He's just...
and contribute to its growth. A fight against Aspinall represents more than just a title bout. It's a symbolic passing of the torch and a commitment to maintaining the competitive spirit of MMA. White's stance is clear.
Heading up to elite status where you're calling out John Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, John Jones is the boogeyman. And maybe he hasn't died, but he's probably he's probably knocked on the door a couple of times like, what's going on, Death? You in there?
Fighters like Jones have a duty to uphold the integrity of the sport by participating in pivotal fights that shape its future and inspire upcoming talents.